My connection to nature has grown stronger this summer with a series of activities. I have done more earthing, I have tried making water tornadoes, I'm getting really good at skipping rocks, and I have also practiced the art of balancing stones. In this video, I will share my experience with these activities. Skipping rocks was the exercise I started with, or as we would call it in Sweden, kasta macka, which directly translated is throw sandwich. Yeah. Anyways, I have improved my ability to skip rocks since my video about my summer routine, where I could do 4 skips at max, if I was lucky. So how do you skip rocks? Well, in my experience, you want to find a location as close to the water surface as possible. When hunting for stones, pick a flat one, with about the size of your palm. Triangular stones are said to work better, but I don't spend that much time looking for the perfect stone, because it all comes down to the throw. Speed is key. You want to release the stone with great rapidity, and with a strong spin as well. The stones are supposed to hit the surface with a 20 degrees angle for optimal effect. I couldn't imagine that skipping rocks would teach me anything of importance, but now when I'm in personal development for good, I also view things through that lens. Something that skipping rocks did confirm to me is that you have to constantly redefine your methods in order to find a working one. I saw this video about a guy called Bubbleman. He was making water tornadoes with his hands, and that's where I was inspired to try it myself. You can find that video in the description, along with other materials for these exercises. After much trial and error, I learned the basics, although it was rather difficult to catch a water tornado on film. Before we continue, I should mention that whirlpool is the correct word, but I said water tornado in the intro, and it sounds cooler. So, if you want to make your own water tornado, you have to move your hands back and forth, while doing a twisting motion as well. You're essentially propelling the water. Do that as quick as possible and experiment with the angles. Bubbleman uses radical angles, while I found it easier to make a little whirlpool using more straight angles. The moral of the story: feel free to try your own techniques. Earthing is a grounding practice that is about walking around barefoot outside. I only did this in the garden at my summer house, where it comes quite naturally to me. I'm used to walking around barefoot here, because why not? Why not try to feel that physical connection between the electrical frequencies of the human body with that of the earth? It may sound like mumbo jumbo, but I don't think so. However, I didn't notice any benefits. It's an abstract practice, and I didn't expect to see immediate results. If I had a stronger intention with the practice, and if I took it more seriously, I'm sure I over time would have noticed more physical and mental fulfillment, and other benefits that earthing is said to have. I tried it for fun, and I didn't learn so much from it. With that said, I do recommend earthing, if you have a safe place to practice the exercise. I should mention that you can practice grounding exercises indoors as well. For example, by sitting in the sunlight or touching rocks. Personally, I will wait for next summer before I try earthing seriously. Moving on to the last practice, the practice that had the most impact on me: rock balancing. I and my oldest little brother would bike down to the dock, collect some stones, and then make our way to this place at the shore, where we would balance the stones. When it was time to leave, we would use all the stones to create something for the next visitors to see. It usually looks like we performed some kind of religious ritual. I never know if the stones got to spread some inspiration before getting blown down by the wind. Or, well, we got pranked multiple times. When we came back, the stones would magically end up in the water somehow. I like to think that it was a bunch of 9-year-olds who couldn't entertain themselves with Fortnite due to the weak internet connection in the countryside. So, they decided to disrupt the harmonious balance instead. I guess that was a good prank. The stones got to spread some entertainment then. The art of balancing stones puts your mentality to the test. Will you go for the easiest balance you can think of? Or will you look for a challenge? Are you focused enough to create the balance you set out to find? Can you place one more stone in a construction? Or is this the most complete version you can make? Actually, I think it's a reflection of your mentality. Only when I believed it was possible could I make a balance. Only when I was focused could I make a balance. Your mentality sets the possibilities and limits. I'm far away from an expert on the subject, but after a few hours of balancing stones, I do have a couple of tips. Make sure that you have a stable foundation. You can't build anything stable from an unstable foundation. Pick a big stone and work your way up. You probably want to decrease the size of the stones as you move up, but honestly, feel free to experiment however you want. That's the key. I quickly found a flow once I started to experiment a little. It's all about trying a reasonable challenge and picking up the stones again once they fall. When your creation stands steady, you can either aim for more or you can call it a day and let it go. I don't precisely know what I wanted to have said with this video. I feel at peace when I'm closely connected to the earth. It gives me room to breathe, to think, and to balance. I don't know, there's something quite special about being in nature. Maybe it cannot be articulated with words. I urge you to strengthen your connection with nature and see for yourself. Thanks for watching. This has been Domino Development. Peace out.